Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So, we have what I assume
I've never heard of anyone getting bitten by
is
a piranha on
the
land
DLC
before.
It
quest.
was a very angry fish.
Although,
I
it's
bet.
possible
Hey
that this
Lara, come and
icon
join us.
is not like Deluxe Edition DLC quest as much as this is just an indication of quests that can only be started after a certain point. If it is that there was a version of this game, a non-deluxe edition of this game, or an original release of this game that didn't have these extra content quest givers, boy, would this game be even less forgiving as far as just being able to overlook things and not find it. So I'm going to really kind of screw this up narratively and just start these other quests and see how this goes.
What are you two up to?
Ucho and I are swapping scar stories.
Jonah tells me you have a few yourself.
No great tales with mine, just me being careless.
She should have a
Got
scar on
this
her
one here
stomach
from my cousin, Eli.
Your cousin gave you
from
that.
the first
Are
game.
you still speaking?
Well, it wasn't my cousin exactly. It was a worm that I...
Oh yeah, I'd kind of forgotten
Perhaps
about the worm.
I had to have been there.
Yeah, probably. So what about you? That one looks like it's got a good story to go with it. What happened?
Obviously, you'd want to know the backstory on the scars on the face.
A very ancient recipe.
So if that wasn't in the main
If
game,
my recipes did that, I think I'd rather starve.
It is not that kind of recipe. This one was for a weapon.
Ah, what sort of weapon?
The White Breath. It is a poison found deep in the wilderness. Its effects would double our numbers without adding a single life. Just the thing the rebellion needs to push back Amaru and his army.
So what happened?
I failed.
You couldn't
going
find it?
really slow in this story. Man, I'm
No,
just
my
sitting
friend.
here.
I
We're
was not
getting these
worthy.
dramatic pauses.
To master the recipe of the White Breath, you must traverse the path of fear. It is a treacherous place filled with terrible demons.
You believe the White Breath could save rebel lives?
Many. But that hope is lost now. I cannot go back. It is too dangerous.
What if I went with you? We could get the recipe for the White Breath together.
I appreciate your offer, Lara, but the path of fear must be taken alone.
Then I'll go.
I cannot ask you to do that.
These
didn't.
tattoos
I'm offering.
No.
are nice and all,
maybe this is
visually
something
depicted, but
Uchu, I can help.
it's kind of
Please,
weird to
let me.
have him tattooed so intricately and then none of the other characters.
Take the passage
Be
through the water
as
beneath this cave. It will lead you to the
intricate.
wilderness. From there, you're on your own.
Yeah, and that's just like a much better cinematic scene because of the way it was animated. Now, theoretically, I guess I could go start this other quest and this mission giver, but you know what? Let's just do it the right way, the way they would expect you to go. Meanwhile, we still need a massive amount of money, probably just to buy salvage, whatever the word is. You scavenge, salvage. One of the things I was thinking about after the last episode is just what would the experience really be like if I intentionally opted to like not use the stealth mode in a stealth mode sequence where you're supposed to take people out and kill them. Like, could I really just through general animations and context clues. Notice how her feet are kind of clipping through the ground or the foliage. I hope I'm going the right direction. It'd be kind of easy to get turned around. Then we're swimming here, and so her skirts all then have to be followed up with just spats. That's what I think you call them, as far as the tight pants that you would wear under a skirt. You might wear under a skirt. Interesting. So, seems to me like there's a side mission here, and then there's a path back. And so I guess the question is, can I just walk out of here? See, this seems like this would be a great place for it to be too muddy or slippery, or at least have a mention that it's too muddy or too slippery. So run, jump, hit X, and somehow end up swinging. Some kind of floaty jumping there. Again. It's questionable whether you really needed to give this extra spiral element. Alright. Apparently I need to pull up a little bit before I could swing. I guess you inherently have this danger of any element of going from point A to point B could be interpreted as being unnecessary and just dragging the game on longer than it needs to. But then that is also all the game really has to offer. This makes a lot more sense that you wouldn't be able to climb on this, but you see the green moss here. That could have been a very good visual indicator to say you can't climb the green moss. Let's see, that area seems to be potentially an area you just will never actually reach or interact with. It seems pretty obvious that there's a experience and an experiment here. There's an experiment here on the idea of having small pools and then going around and spiraling around those small pools to have smaller sections of platforming, perhaps more naturally throughout the entirety of the game. Of course, it didn't really happen, and you could see why this would have been potentially cut content where it were not in the deluxe edition because it just plays so differently. So we know that we've unlocked a new ability to lock on to things, but it didn't seem like that really worked with the bird, so it may be only in hunting humans that you can lock on to humans. And I guess it is setting up a precedent. You have this blocked entrance and spiraling around and having to climb and jump is what we just did a couple times. Now, if this is a DLC section though, is there actually going to be any collectibles in this? Or is this just straight up another tomb? There could have been more of this, certainly. A mix of linear paths that weren't in tombs and caves, but were instead
This can't be the path of fear. I must have...
in the forest.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Well, her hair's flickering all over the place, and then we're getting another interesting cutscene. This definitely is not the content that you would want to miss. So in the second game, she got poisoned by mushrooms and had a hallucination of a Baba Yaga. Now we're having a hallucination of some previous time in Lara Croft's life with a different outfit. Which, just doing the exact same thing twice in 2 games in a row is not really what you want. That flashlight is really, really black. And compared to the jacket, which is kind of
Why can't you be
purple.
happy with what you have? Mom.
This kind of has a layer of fear feel to it. But part of the problem I think you run into here is that if you wanted this sequence to be really spooky and scary, then some of the gory or spooky sections when we're just walking by corpses and skeletons probably should have been toned down or non-existent, so that this one sequence would jump out. There's no way you would have seen this sequence before you would have done the flashback as the little girl, Laura. And I am assuming we're not just solving a puzzle here. I think we're probably just walking, and we can go into the census mode, but nothing's being highlighted, but it is slightly changing the appearance. Okay. Grab a sword? Nope. Interact with anything else? Jump over the edge? Nope. Someone's knocking on the door, so we open the door. So that was pretty much the entirety of that jump scare, was just that they were going to pull their swords out. In a lot of ways, the father figure really just comes off a lot like the father figure in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And even at that, I would think it would have been better if the father figure in Indiana Jones in the first 3 movies had been around in the first 2 movies and mentioned. Same would be true as far as this rebooted series. For as much as they're making the father an important character, basically on rails, I can push forward or I can try and walk backwards, but I can't really go left or right too much. I don't think Lara Croft is well suited by being replaced in the narrative by her father being the starter of all of this. And the like pivot point around the entire story that's happening now. And I don't think it really solves a lot of things. By the way, this is like the 3rd time she has been falling backwards in water in this game. They really are just doing the same gimmick over and over again. So I fell into water, and apparently this have woken up. Although I'm still wearing the outfit from the hallucination. I now have equipment though. This would be a really bad sequence for you to potentially drown and have to redo the whole thing. Again, the senses, survival instincts not doing anything, and we're just getting highlighted by bodies, but I'm just swimming right past them. So I don't know if these are supposed to be models of bodies of people we know or not. And certainly we've already seen this sequence before, climbing through rocks and seeing arms and corpses. It really does not mean anything special now. We have infinite bullets right now. We're just hallucinating. Seems like these guys could probably kill you. I guess this is a slight experiment on just what a more action-paced run and gun sequence might have been. You're like knocking their heads off, and they're just turning into more and more of the same. Can we just wait for a second here to let ourselves heal? Can't switch any weapons. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if this just went on forever. So for weirdly, it is giving me XP. Yeah, clearly that was supposed to happen. Now what would really suck is if all of a sudden we started having the crashing happen in this section. So I'm gonna try and get out of this area as quickly as possible.
You don't know that you caused all this, Lara!
It arguably would have been better if they had more focused on this whole section and the idea of her causing the end of the world and the apocalypse. Of course, the difference between fear when being shown in the... Okay, I'm back. So, in this whole process, I was worried about it crashing the desktop, and instead it decided to full-on blue screen of death reboot my computer. That happened just as soon as I started to open the light door and load in something else. We'll see if that happens a second time. Otherwise, I don't know if there's really a way. Like, I might have to just like load from a save file and skip this entire section. Either one of two things are happening. One, this game is causing some really crazy crashes it shouldn't be allowed to do, such as rebooting your computer, which that should never happen on Windows in general, but an app in a game shouldn't be able to cause it at all, in particular. Or my computer is breaking for some new and wild reason, which that wouldn't be the first time I've had some weird new and wild reason for it breaking to happen. Yep, no problem there that time. And so this is like going towards Croft Manor. And look, there's a whole bunch of birds, but we can't do anything about them, so unless we were going to just like actively try and knock the birds all away. It's not just walking here, it's unburying him from the graveyard. So clearly her fear is that Jonah's gonna get killed, but they've teased that Jonah was gonna die multiple times in this game. And if anything, it's just really feels like the game is setting yourself up to actually accept his death and not use the box and the knife to remake the world, to bring him back to life. So the audio here would be drastically different depending on the dynamic range. If you have a surround system on, you'd get more of the fact that they're moving the audio around on the soundstage.
Jonah!
I can't breathe down here. Why did you bring me here, Lara? Why would you do this to me? Don't let this happen to me, Lara.
I've got you, Jonah. Please, please, hang on. Come on, don't be dead, please. Jonah, come on! Come on, Jonah!
You know what to do.
Now we have a gun.
Go on. Do it.
What?
And Lara Croft is telling you to kill yourself.
The pain.
That's a very muddy
End it.
Lara Croft,
I'm
which I
not
guess
in
is a great
pain.
example of how much mud they could have
Selfish
had
brat.
you put on
Their
yourself.
pain, not yours. All the lives you've destroyed, and so many more to come. You destroy everyone you touch. Little cancer, little death.
wouldn't. They're my friends. They're all
Dead or doomed. You know it. Feel it. You're a black thumb, Lara. Incapable of keeping life. First your mother, then your father, and now your friends.
no.
So now we're back into our outfit. We do have some kind of rusty gun
Hey, it's me, it's Jonah. Are you okay?
or muddy gun.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Nearly shot yourself.
Thank God. She made it. She's okay.
Well done, Lara. You've proven yourself worthy. Now you must enter the Valley of the Monkey Gods and retrieve the White Breath.
The monkey gods? You mean the twins, Hunahan and Hunchevin?
Yes, it is believed they authored the recipe for the White Breath as a means of revenge against the brothers who transformed them.
So now this is probably just pointing us back into a more standard tomb. That lady is just gone, if she ever was really there. You're about to enter this tomb. Your current progression will be saved. Do you want to continue? Yes. Why are we getting a prompt like that, though? Like, we haven't been prompted to save before entering any other tomb, and we've never had a straight up load
Hunahan
in
and
another
Hunchevin
section.
must have traveled through here when they were banished from Paititi. No one's been through here in centuries.
Yeah, and there's just none of this is on the map even. And I imagine the game won't crash and my computer won't reboot for a while. It does seem like part of the thing here is that the video messes up when I use my smart TV to watch something else, when I change the input on the TV, basically. Even if I exit out of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and relaunch it, it seems like there is some value that's not being kept, being reset in that. Of course, other things that potentially could be happening there is that there's a memory leak when I leave the game running too long, which would be a different scenario. But it is definitely RAM based, or at least video RAM based. This game is attempting to manipulate RAM in a very weird way that's causing trouble. One of the things about this game, though,
Valley of
I've
the Monkey
noticed
Gods. It's a massive fault line.
is
Must
that
have fractured centuries ago. A perfect place to hide if you wanted to disappear like the monkey twins did.
how am I supposed to interact with this? Feels like jumping up to pull something down. Interesting. Do you need a co-op partner? How would you do it in single player? There's a bridge. Yeah, one of the things about this game that I've noticed is it really has done a good job of not giving you a place to give up. Had there been a nice resolution, or had the game pushed you a little bit further into finishing the story, I could see just giving up at that point. And there is a decent chance that when I see credits in this game, I will be done with it.
The The Valley of the Monkey Gods. It's a massive fault line. Must have fractured centuries ago. A perfect place to hide if you wanted to disappear like the Monkey Twins did.
I wonder if I was just given 2 different paths. And it kind of didn't matter which path you took. Okay. Clearly, there's a rope. And we're supposed to pull that. So, then the question becomes, how do we pull that? Okay. You just ignore all the tempting other elements and you run and climb. This is bad layout. Too much to do in one area.
This place is falling apart, being exposed on the cliffsides like this. I'm amazed any of it's still here.
And see, there was this whole wind-based, like, cliff type crevice, whatever you would call this, in the last game too. It really feels like it's just the same old, same old.
It shows a procession of people coming to the Valley of the Gods, following sounds or song. They're all carrying their belongings and what looks like votive offerings. They must be worshippers. The Monkey Twins weren't ridiculed by everyone after fleeing Paititi. They were venerated by some.
So that we climb this way, or do we slide this way? Weirdly, it does feel like either way is fine. Although that being said, don't know where I'm going now. I can't even jump up here and use the Ascender, which I do have, but you inherently wouldn't have to have if you never purchased it.
This place is falling apart, being exposed on the cliffsides like this. I'm amazed any of it's still here.
Let's just go the other direction. Maybe this is more of a case of you have to find the right path, and that there is perhaps some tricks to this, and that there are wrong ways and there are right ways. Ideally in the game, though, you wouldn't have a player die to go back and investigate a different path. You would want it to be a situation where the player, a perfect player, a theoretical perfect player would be able to play an entire game all the way through without ever dying, without having to follow any kind of strategy guide or foreknowledge. So it's going to be an awkward angle, I would assume. We're just jumping. But the timing has to be pretty tight on that, it looks like. Where are we now? Jump this way. Fling, swing, fall. Climb back up. I wouldn't want this to spin more, so I would hope that there would have been a like, is there a way to jump? Am I supposed to jump and swing? Or am I supposed to climb up? From the looks of it, we're jumping and swinging. That is too much. The game threw us a bone by giving us a ledge, otherwise I would have fallen to my death.
Hunahan and Hunchevin. Those statues are enormous. This
What
has to be a gate to
statues?
something.
Where? There? Show me, game. Don't just talk about something I can't see. I guess that and that are the gates they're talking about. And then another switch. This whole thing feels very weird because it does just give off the feeling where you may get some kind of weird ability to summon a helper monkey or something that is going to pull down those switches and open doorways for you. And that's not even to even begin to talk about how there seems like there is way too much technology here. For this civilization.
This looks like a wooden turbine. It seems to be jammed. What does this turbine power, I wonder?
Yeah, it would only make sense for this kind of technology to exist if you're going on the theory that they had a lot better technology than you would have thought, or once again Lara Croft goes back in time and creates these tombs herself.
Damn, there's no way forward. These are the blueprints for the instrument. The detail in the planning was extraordinary.
I guess part of the problem, though, if you go back in time, though, wasn't that the Angelina Jolie movie, too? Is that she went back in time?
That did it.
For at least a brief second?
The turbine must be using the valley wind to power some sort of instrument.
We're just pushing switches forward.
Why would Hunanan and Hunchevin build this place?
It's so video gamey. So video game. One, two, three. If anything, this all looks very deadly. I assume the move is that you're just supposed to push this forward. Okay, wait.
There's no drum here.
So the heads are drums. The move was to push this forward here. But you push it forward, then what do? You could try to jump to the other section. Let's take a look at that and see what that would do. Seems like it wouldn't do anything. So we've got to push it forward, and then we've got to run back to this bridge. That's the safe spot. Either run back here or run back to that point. So as fast as possible, push this forward and then run this way. Now, is there
Some of the beats are missing.
a real reason to go this route? Or am I supposed to just jump further?
There's no drum here.
There's obviously something collectible here. You can't just climb on the head. So it definitely feels like this was potentially an experiment in having multiple paths, but I'm not sure that it really fulfills that goal so much as it halfway gives up on that goal, and then you do end up just going back and forth. So now you have a platform that would get you back up. Arguably this may be too many. This just may be too much. It doesn't look like that goes any further in that direction. Too many switches to push forward and back. See, now I'm confused as far as, am I supposed to swing on that? Kind of feels like I should just be able to like jump from the rope up higher to that platform. See, yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to swing and jump to the platform or if I'm supposed to just jump to the white. I guess the safest thing would be to do this. I guess that works pretty well. Then we jump to this, and then fairly quickly you want to get off of that, I'm sure.
Some of the beats are missing.
Then over here we have what looks like another switch, and over here what looks like another switch. Maybe we don't actually need to activate those switches. This is definitely something,
Some of
though.
the beats are missing.
This is much more of a tomb than most of the other challenge tombs, or any of the other challenge tombs. Like, actually, by far, this is asking a lot more, putting a lot more challenge on it. Looks like that might be a quick path backwards. This is like the 4th or 5th one we've pushed back now. So it kind of needs to wrap up pretty soon here. This is not where, I guess we get very boring if we had another 20 of these going on. So are we supposed to go all the way back? Or can we just jump here? Doesn't seem to me like we could just jump there. I guess you'd have a bit of a balance you'd have to try to pull off here. You don't want the music to only play once when it's perfect. That would work, but it wouldn't like work with this logic particularly well. But you're hearing the songs the wrong way as far as beats go. That was a very wonky jump there. Way more often than you're going to hear the beats the correct way. I've forgotten what button you would have used to use the accelerator. Gotta make sure I don't move too fast here. So what you've got to do is you've got to have a system where it actually sounds pretty good, even missing a few beats. I would guess that's a move. Okay. This swings around, I guess. Maybe making a shortcut. And you can actually go backwards here and have it tied, then move it into the position you want. Which frankly you probably have to do that. There's a little too much left here as far as this puzzle goes. Because my computer reset, I don't really know how long that first part of this video was going to be. I'll have to splice the two videos together later. Interesting. How was I supposed to get down there? I don't think I can jump on it and climb over there. Well, let's see what this does first. Alright. So it just crashed and broke some rocks, and we're not even hearing a sound effect around that. Okay. So at the risk of dying, I'm going to jump here and grab the rope. And that's just to collect this, break this shortcut.
Pay close attention to the music.
There's a whole nother section down that way, and it almost looks like you're supposed to go down here with the spinning things, but that would be an option at least. I don't think it really is. Wow, that felt like that just was gonna smack me down. I don't know if I can actually get anywhere from this point. I don't think I can make that jump from there since we've moved the platform. I don't think so. It seems to me like you needed this to be able to go here, the other direction.
Okay, I need to pay close attention to the music.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it could just be a straight run across. Is there any reason why you would really want to go on the other path? I don't know. Seems like the right path here would just be a little bit more complicated. All hit, then that. The one on the right hits, then that one's, then that. Or you can just say screw it and rush forward, which is basically what I just did. So you do all that, and we get some quality of life improvement, I'm sure. Although, the reason we got to this tomb in the first place was the DLC thing. Creates a cloud of hallucinogenic vapor around the fear arrow's impact. So it improves your fear arrow. And then we're loading out of this section because it is so completely disconnected from the rest of the game. Clearly, this would have been potentially cut content. And they are just fast traveling you back into this cave.
Welcome back. Hey, you okay?
I'm fine.
She found it.
Here, the white breath.
She's handing him
Strange.
actual
Such
powder
a small thing can hold such great power.
instead of
I hope
a
it gives the
recipe to
rebellion
make
the
more of
advantage
it.
it needs over Amaru and his cult.
I think
Of course,
we both
you
know
also
that
get to
will.
use it.
Uchu, I still think you owe us a story. Because I'm trying to put that scar and a recipe in the same equation.
I don't really think there's anything to tell.
So he basically scarred his own face up while hallucinating. That's what you have to assume. Let's see. We've also apparently gotten several new pieces of gear, which I don't understand why we would have just gotten extra gear from that.
I can't believe how much Etzli has grown in such a short time.
As far as weapons are concerned, we probably aren't unlocking any new weapons from doing that. I'd assume these full body outfits are not being unlocked. Although, maybe. So, I guess the question is, what did we just get? It's not a piece of gear like this. And so, we just unlocked the ability to allow perception planes to allow sensing of animals and natural resources throughout the environment, which is really redundant. I wouldn't even put resources into that. What makes a lot more sense, we haven't actually had a dodge need. I think it makes a lot more sense to just resist damage and then resist damage. So that is one fewer tombs, although if we look at the hidden city, it says we've only done one tomb, and I'm fairly certain the one tomb they're counting is like the one way over here, not the one we just did. So it does kind of seem like these mission givers and these side quest tombs are additional tombs not marked on the map. And it doesn't feel like that's giving you an above 100% completion ratio either.
The great Senchichika and the shield of the Age Maker.
What?
We'll get another
Lara.
nice cutscene here.
Yes?
I am Koryanka.
This
Unuratu
character
has spoken very highly of you.
has a very
I was the
fancy
one who opened
outfit
the way to the old
and
barracks
a
when Etzli was
fancy
captured.
head tattoo, it
You
looks
played
like.
a part in that as well. We are sisters of the same cause.
Ah, I see. Your tattoo, are you...
One of the shorn ones, yes. But that was another life. Before Amaru, when we stood for something else. He dissolved my order in favor of his priests. I am all that is left. But I swore an oath. Never take a step backwards in battle. So now I wear the colors of the rebellion. I am duty-bound to Queen Unuratu.
Well, the reputation of the Shorn Ones is well known to me, historically speaking. It's an honor.
You're too kind.
It's not known to me.
I heard you speak of Emperor Sinchi-Chika.
I'm not sure I even have ever
Yes,
heard
the
shorn
first
ones
emperor
before.
of Paititi. He is Unuratu's ancestor. He made this age everything we see, touch, smell, everything we fight for now.
I've never heard of this shield before.
The shield of the Age Maker. It is the evidence this rebellion needs that Unuratu is the one to lead Paititi into the next age. Inscribed on the shield is the ordination ritual. The ritual will prove Queen Unuratu is the next Age Maker, that only she may create destiny, and not that false god Amaru.
And where is
Of course,
the shield?
she's already dead,
Hidden,
so
deep within the
obviously
mountains,
this
beyond the path of Huracan.
quest was written with the
The
narrative
path of Huracan.
that
It is a trial, designed to test all those who
that
seek
you were
the
supposed to
shield.
have done this quest before.
You've already tried.
That was my mission
And
before
obviously
Exley
they
was
should have
captured.
rewritten
Unfortunately,
the
I had to
story,
divert. Since his rescue, the cult knows
rewritten
we're
this
planning
dialogue to
something, so
not mention
now I must prepare our fighters,
her,
and the shield
the
must
queen,
wait.
the dead queen now.
Only I fear that if we wait too long, Amaru may get to it first and deny Unuratu's claim.
If Amaru gets the shield, he can
What
unite
would be
Paititi
really
behind
irritating
whatever
is we
story
do
he
these
chooses
extra
and proclaim
quests,
himself
and
the
then it
Age
just
Maker.
unlocks
He'll
even
remake
more
the world
quests.
as he sees fit.
Yes,
That can't happen.
I was hoping you would say that.
They're getting a little repetitive as
That's
far
my
as
friend
just
over there with Uchu. His name is Jonah.
re-explaining
I'll
the
contact him if I find
the
anything.
overall plot.
I'll stay close to him. Thank you, Lara.
Okay. Seems to me... Yeah, that's just a glitch. You can see even the bow is just glitching and hanging there. Gotta remember how to get out of this area. Is this the right direction? I don't think it is. Come on, main story and quest. Let's see. So if we start this, this is just the end of the game. By talking to the person. Is there a way to get out of this cave? Yes, because we came into this cave. Just gotta figure it out. Could have sworn we walked in through a crack in the wall somewhere over here. Maybe this is the way out. Yeah, this is the way up. The fact that we were fast traveled into this area confused that. So we do now know that we are at a point of no return as far as quests go. That's grotesque. And that will, when we engage with that story mission, that will be just the end of it, probably, for the entire game. So any last bit of stuff I want to do needs to start to happen. Let's see. So Age of Makers quest Goes there. Let's set this up and look in the direction for that, the side quest, and finish that one, because I think that side quest in particular is one to do, because it's a main story side quest, not deluxe edition side quest content. Of course, they wanted you to have a different outfit on when doing this side quest, so you can see running into some trouble. Right.
They'll not see me beg.
Serpent guard outfit required. Which means I am going to have to go all the way back this direction first and change the outfits. There's just straight up murals we've missed too. I'm sure this was always there.
A heavy-breasted woman wearing serpents around her waist. This is Kuatli-Q, whose name literally means skirt of snakes. She's also called Tetio-Inen, the mother of the gods. She gave birth to the moon and the stars, and had over 400 children, including the sun god, Huitzilopochtli, who was also god of war. In addition to being a mother, she's seen as the devourer of all that lives. It's said that she was herself sacrificed to bring about this current age of creation.
It's an interesting comparison, since she mentioned God of War, in that how the God of War reboot really caught a lot more people's attention than this Tomb Raider reboot. Both games, kind of successful games certainly, but kind of in the middle of the road games too. Not the best sellers to ever exist. I guess perhaps one of the ways that God of War succeeded is that it chose to drastically change what it was, to the point where it's not anywhere close to what the original God of War games were. Whereas Lara Croft games, Tomb Raider games, are still trying to hold on to a bit of a vestige of being a 3D platformer. We're just gonna have to get the prompt. We now have a hand drill.
This garishly decorated fire drill appears to be a part of the new fire ceremony, an Aztec celebration of the new year. It consists of 5 days of fasting, bloodletting, and sacrifice. The fire drill is meant to be placed upon the chest of the freshly sacrificed. It sparks, feeding a large bonfire that ignites the flames of every nearby temple.
And just imagine Lara Croft is drowning as we're spinning around, trying to get the one angle that gets that extra line of dialogue.
This one, however, doesn't appear to have been used, as the notches are clear of blood.
Now, it is not my desire, by any means, to try and find every single collectible. We could definitely shoot for that, but it would be way, way too much work. for way too little reward. Just run into somebody. Might as well grab pelts when we can find them. This time, because of the item I'm wearing, and I assume that's the reason, I just got 2 pelts instead of 1.
Mother.
Yeah.
Hakan, how dare you ask Aron to do such a thing?
What would you have me do?
I can't believe how much Edsley has grown in such a short time. He's
Let's
lost
see.
both his parents. I wonder how he's really doing. Well, he's handling it better than I did, that's for sure.
We have yet another quest here, so we might as well just see what this is.
Hakan,
Who are you?
I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing, remember?
Priest! I didn't recognize you out of costume. Ah, it's good to see you again, my friend.
You too. How's Kiara?
She still has a father, thanks to you.
If I remember correctly, it took both of us to get out of that cell. So how have you been?
I'm trying my best.
This
not
is
to
a
squander
continuation
this
of the
chance I was
last
given,
quest.
But I may not have a choice.
What's the trouble?
Aron, one of the men who lives here, happens to work at the guard barracks in the upper city. I asked him to do some snooping around for me, but he hasn't returned.
You're afraid something's happened to him.
His sister is. She always worries for him, but she has a point. If I put Aron in
This
danger,
quest clearly
Moon, who
gives
owns
it
this little
the
halfway house
feeling
the
like
garbage finds out,
you were supposed to do these
then our eye will
quests,
be out on our ear.
say 6 weeks, 6 months
I could check
after
on Aaron for you.
originally playing
If
the
he's in some
game
sort of trouble,
when it
maybe I
first
can pull him
launched,
out.
trying to bring you back into the game to play it even more,
You do have a knack for it, I'll give
which
you that.
this definitely is not a game for that. Of course,
Do you still have that priest outfit of
if
yours?
this game had
As it
multiplayer,
happens, I do.
then the deluxe edition, the DLC, the
Aron
extra
is a
content
custodian at the guard
would
barracks
make
in the
more
upper
sense
city.
then. That
That outfit
they were
is
hoping you
going
would
to
have
get you through the
continued to
door.
play multiplayer and then even continued further to play the single player content. Now that multiplayer is pretty obviously missing from the game and has been ripped out,
My eyes burn.
it makes no
I
sense at
see.
all.
Clearly, am I in the afterlife? Are you a spirit?
No, I'm very much alive.
Here we have
As are you.
basic animations
A mortal and an
and
immortal.
conversations, which are
There,
drastically
you're
worse.
free to go.
Yes, I have been liberated.
So one more over this way, and we're also looking for a thing to swing on if we happen to find that. I don't know if there would be really a way to swing on that frog. We really can't climb either. I suppose
All of us.
if we had
This is what we deserve.
not collected
Failed
so much the
miserably.
first
Don't be so
time
rough on yourself. You'll live to
wandering
fight
around the
another
city,
day.
there
Didn't
would
fight.
be more to collect
Gave up
now.
when we were surrounded. Marched off to die without a single drop of blood on the ground.
Okay. Now, enabling freedom. You can see the last one. is over there. Or we could go get this mural. We could go get this treasure chest. And then we could work our way back here. There's still some high dives we've probably missed. Best case scenario would be to run as fast as possible to through all this stuff. Although I don't know why I'm really trying to get XP or anything.
Is the son of the Maya creator god Hunabku. He was the god of education, responsible for inventing writing and books. This made him an essential figure in the development of Maya culture. He was also god of agriculture and created farming. He even presided over doctors, healing people with the help of his red-hot hand. Usually, Itzamna took on a reptilian aspect, but he was also known as Kinichahau, a fire Makor, who is the patron of the number 4 and controlled drought and disease.
The patron of number 4? I hope this information is as factual as they possibly could have made it. It would really suck if you felt like you really learned something here, and then it turned out you really hadn't learned anything, and that they had just been lying to you with content.
The Paititians made peace with each other and followed Yaskar Yahweh, recently acclaimed as emperor, to a site in the mountains to begin anew, certain they will not make the same mistakes as those before them.
I'm just questioning, does this just keep going, or what?
An Aztec-influenced mask, decorated with items native to the area around Paititi.
Like, where are we going? We're curving around, and then we now have a new mission giver. Wow. So, several other things we've missed. Are missions even marked? Wow, yeah, there are. There's apparently, in this area, 7 more missions to do. So I have just really dropped the ball as far as missions go. In the other areas, though, I think I might be in a much better position. Yeah. Doesn't seem like there are any missions in any of the other sections. Okay. So, more reason to wander around this hidden city section. You kind of hope that there would be some overlap and that the missions themselves would lead to something else. Finding other collectibles that you may have already found.
Have you heard?
These are nice tattoos.
Terrible. Sumac was killed by his own servant.
How do you know Sumac?
Everyone knows Sumac. He was my mentor and business partner. He made my business possible. Trade in the upper district without the right contacts, it's impossible. Sumac did all that for me and more.
I'll find out what happened to him.
Thank you, Ahau.
I don't know why he's calling her a How. Weren't they calling her a Sheezy or something like that?
Apologies, Ahau, but you may not enter. The crowd is violent. If I move, they may rush in.
Perhaps I can find a way to distract them.
A wise strategy, Ahau.
I don't even know who a How is.
A tragedy. I must see Shoko.
Okay. How are we supposed to distract him when we have no weapons
There's
or
something
anything
there.
like that? There's nowhere further to climb.
I can't let you pass. The people are angry. I fear they may turn violent. Not right now. Can you try to calm the crowd, Ahau?
Like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to calm the crowd. Let's see. Solve his murder. It says to do that, go.
Have you not been informed of the death of Sumac?
Indeed, Ahau. He was a great man.
He
So
was.
I guess I was supposed to just go
Now
this
sound
way.
the call of mourning to usher him to the afterlife.
Yes, Ahau. I will play.
And so I needed to talk to that guy so people would move away so I can then start a
How did it
cutscene.
happen?
When we arrived, Shoko, the mistress of the house, was arguing with Taruka, her servant.
Now
Sumac
this
lay
guard
dead
is
between them.
basically working
Taruka
for
was
the
covered
bad
in blood.
guy.
Did Shoko witness the murder?
No. She came home from the market to find Taruka standing over Sumac.
Has Taruka confessed?
No, he pleads innocence. But you're here now, Ahau. Few can lie under the scrutiny of the gods. When he confesses, speak with the investigator. He's up near the body.
So then we talk to this guy. This is just going to be talking to people.
I swear I didn't kill my master.
Be calm, Taruka. Tell me what happened.
I came in from working the fields. I heard a loud noise, like a gate slamming shut. I ran and found Sumac covered in blood. He'd been stabbed. I tried to stop the bleeding, but he was already gone.
That's why your hands are bloody.
Ahau, please believe me.
I'll return if I have any more questions.
So we just gotta talk to everybody else, I guess.
Hello? Shoko?
Yes, Ahau.
I know this is difficult, but I need you to tell me what happened.
I was at the market with... Oh, poor Sumac.
Take your time. Start from the beginning. You're at the market?
Yes, with Agna. I was going to make bokchuk. It was my husband's favorite.
Akna?
One of my servants.
What happened when you came home?
I found Taruka in the kitchen, standing over Sumac. His hands covered in my husband's blood. I yelled and the guards arrived.
Was he holding a weapon?
No.
Did you hear a loud slam as you arrived?
No, of course not.
What about Akna?
What about her? She was with me. She accompanied me to the market and back.
Where is she now?
Recovering in her room. She's had quite a shock.
I'll go talk to her.
But... yes, of course. As you wish, Ahau.
So, yeah. Murder mystery here. And talking to everybody.
Greetings, Ahau.
What do you have?
Sumac was stabbed in the neck many times with something pointy and very sharp.
Like an
It's
arrow
surprising
or a knife?
how many guards and how
Whatever
many
it was,
crimes
it's
seem to
gone now.
happen
We've searched
in
the
this
entire room.
relatively small
Then the murderer
hidden
took the
city.
weapon with them. May I have a look at the body?
Of course. May the gods grant you the wisdom to see what I can.
is that this game though?
Looks like the body was moved.
Like, should this game be a murder mystery investigation? Or are we just going in a very weird direction? Clearly there's some Witcher 3 influence here. And in that spooky section that we did earlier, there's some Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice influence too.
For a stab wound, there's not much blood.
But I think allowing yourself to be drawn in many different directions like this and doing these weird side quests
I promised I would.
is just highlighting how unpolished the main gameplay mechanics are.
Hello, Akna.
Oh, Ahau. Forgive me. I thought you were the mistress.
I was hoping to ask you a few questions.
I don't know anything. I never know anything.
Does this gate open?
The gate? No. It's broken. It has been broken for a long time.
Akna. I'll find another way around.
So how am I supposed to find another way around? I mean, clearly I can find another way around. It's just seemingly kind of silly to have to do that.
It was only a matter of time. I knew it.
Ahau. Hello. Is it true? Sumac was murdered?
Yes, I'm looking for Akna. I have questions for her.
The servant girl? I wouldn't waste any time on her. She doesn't know anything. She can't even see what's going on right in front of her eyes every day.
What do you mean?
I apologize, Ahau. It's not my place to speak.
If you know something, tell me.
Let's just say Shoko and Sumac didn't have the most passionate of marriages. Shoko always had eyes for Ikal.
Ikal? Sumac's business partner. So they were friends.
They're much more than friends, I think.
Thank you for the information.
The pleasure is mine, Ahau.
A lot of these cutscenes are so bright compared to what happens here. I guess it's probably no surprise that I've missed some content here when it's this difficult just to get around, even for the subquest.
Maya and Inca stood shoulder to shoulder against their brothers on one side. Those
Sure
who
wish I
wished to
was
retreat
climbing
and
the
start
wall
fresh,
while this
and
plays.
those who wished to expand and conquer neighboring territories.
I hope I'm not going the wrong direction. We're getting fairly big percentages
This staff
finding
has
each
a
of these
jewelry
items.
rigged flintlock mechanism, similar to those from European firearms. The cultist priests must have used this during their ceremonies to awe the crowds.
Ideally, I'd like to get back up there, but don't think I have a choice there. This may have taken me in a completely different direction. Yeah, we've already been here. And then there was this gate It was blocked off. So it is just easier to potentially fast travel. I want to finish this quest, but that is going to mean we go longer than I probably should be going. It's going to highlight how terrible the experience could be if you did jump around the entirety of the map doing side quests and tunes and just trying to find collectibles. I think all we were really trying to do originally was get this treasure chest. Then we started a whole nother quest over here. Gotta figure out easiest way to get up. Serpent guard outfit not allowed when talking to that guy. Interesting. It's probably not worth it to be collecting resources. I can see collecting hides. There we only got one hide because I changed the outfit, I would assume. Another one of these that just totally missed. At this rate, if we're getting somewhere between 4 and 6% each time, it does seem to me like then we could assume we are somewhere around 8 or 9 for potentially each language. That was another story completed. Yeah, for MAM Fluent, if we're getting 4% or 6% there, then 5 more for that, and then if it's about the same percentage for the others, we would have, I'd say at least 10 more, if not more, for Quechua, and then Yucatec, probably close to 10 more, specifically murals. That's a lot, though. Okay. And so I guess we just have to run all the way around again. While we're running around this way, we can talk to this guy again.
A tragedy. I must see Shoko.
Okay. I don't know if there really was another way to do this other than to jump this ledge, find this spot. Is that something you're supposed to swing on? And then get to this point. All to go this direction this time.
The ground was disturbed here recently.
We're probably going to end up going back this whole way. 3% on that.
Ill-suited to the local land, the Maya's agriculture techniques of slash and burn soon led to a food shortage. At the risk of starvation, they entered into treaties with local pre-Inca tribes, gaining new technologies and crops. The traders arrived, bringing new goods, and then the farmers, with new crops and techniques. Eventually, as more and more of the outsiders arrived in Paititi, they eventually took administrative control.
So, another story complete. It's really worth pointing out, though, how terrible these story completes are being completed, how out of order it all is. Like, if I were to run around the game and try and collect 100% of each of these artifact stories, I still would not have any logical understanding of the narrative they were trying to tell. And if anything, I think that highlights the problem here, is that this is a game that has put way too much of its narrative in unimportant artifact collecting and not enough of its narrative in just the main story.
More blood. Someone tried to clean this. This must be where Sumac was killed.
So the Path of Fear side mission, by the way, that we finished, only 16% of players have finished that. So we have seen, for the deluxe edition content, a significant drop compared to the main story content. Although the main story content, I suspect when we get an achievement that is very near the end of the game, we probably will be somewhere close to the 30% mark, where about a third of all players have finished the main story. The ground vibrated.
This must be the knife used in the murder.
Put it back. You must. The mistress said if anyone saw it, she would get in trouble.
Why would she get in trouble?
Please, Ahau, don't make me. If anything happened to the mistress...
You need to tell me everything.
The mistress didn't come to the market with me. When I got back to my room, the gate was broken and there was blood everywhere. As the mistress called for the guards, she gave me the knife to hide. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for your honesty, Akna.
Please. Please forgive me, Ahau. Please.
Shoko will be brought to justice.
So he's still... The gate is now fixed magically.
There are bloody tracks on the floor.
Did we find all the evidence? Are we supposed to talk to everybody?
Is guilty, Ahau. I'm sure of it.
Yes, Ahau?
Did anyone see Shoko at the market at the time when Sumac was killed?
She was with Akna, her servant. Why?
Taruka says he heard a gate slam when he arrived. That's what drew him to discover the body. Soon after, Shoko arrived.
That's correct.
So where's the murder weapon?
We searched everywhere. It's not in the house.
We're missing something. I'll speak with Akna, see what she knows.
As you wish, Ahau.
So, yeah. Kind of going in circles here.
Yes, Ahau. How can I help?
You said earlier you've been working in the fields. Did you return here with your tools?
No. Since the rebels attacked, the cult of Kukulkan has seized our farming tools. We must surrender them when leaving the fields.
When Shoko returned, was Akna with her?
No, it was only Shoko. Akna was not there. Why?
Thank you, Taruka.
So you're getting a lot of conflicting stories, but it's just going to resolve
Pakal, Taruka is innocent.
with you
Sumac
accusing
was killed by his wife, Shoko. I
Soko.
found the knife she used.
Arrest her!
No!
Shoko wasn't at the market. She waited until Taruka and Akna were away, then she stabbed Sumac in the neck several times.
That's a lie!
Sumac fell in the passage back there. Shoko moved his body where Taruka would easily find him.
You're lying!
Then she slammed the inner gate shut to attract Taruka's attention. She gave Akna the knife and told her to hide it. Then she confronted Taruka and blamed him for the murder.
Silence! You will both be dealt with. Please, accept this as a token of our gratitude.
So we've got a new outfit that increases the endurance orb.
Shoko, a murderer. I can't believe it. Poor Sumac.
Like all that work. That was quite a lot. Let's just jump down here. All we were really going for was this treasure chest. Oh man, and there's more to it. So we didn't even like fully finish the story. Much like the stealth element of the game, where you'd have to pretty much always be in survival instincts mode when trying to take out enemies. In these missions, you pretty much have to go to the main map over and over again to know what the next step would be.
Taruka, you're free to go.
Thank you, Ahau. Sometimes there is justice.
Like, why would the game give you XP and an item if you had one last thing to do? And skill points, I almost missed out on one more skill point for what little that is worth, and let's just check the menu just to make sure there isn't one more thing that needs to be done. Not gonna crawl through the window, apparently. I don't think talking to that guy, I don't think you really need to talk to that guy. We didn't have the lockpick until time we walked past us. 50 XP and the item.
How can these shapes be Incan when they look like airplanes? Oh, I see. They're insects of some sort. Archaeology is a very delicate field of study. You have to put yourself in the mindset of people and cultures who died centuries before you were even born. Humans interpret strange phenomena based on what they already know. If the Inca had seen planes, they might have assumed they were some sort of bird. Given that, these shapes may not be insects after all. Some of them look more like fish.
So that was a lot of talking in circles. Is this a mummified person? It is. He's sitting around a bunch of mummified people. And then I just set myself on fire. And then can't really mark anything else. We were trying to finish and free the rebels. We're looking for one last thing to swing on. I wonder if the mercenary, the mysterious merchant lady would show back up in this area. I bet she would, eventually. I bet if you just followed drumming, you have a decent chance of finding that merchant. Although that drumming that I hear right now there's nothing else here though that's gonna really point you towards the jumps. Let's go ahead and free this last guy.
You're wasting your time. I'll never tell you anything.
I'm not here to interrogate you. I'm here to free you.
Bribery? Life as a traitor would be worse than death.
I'm sure it would, but I'm a friend.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome. You and your friends are safe.
No. The cult was expecting us. A spy has infiltrated the rebellion.
Okay. So now we would have to return to Poma to finish that quest. Way over here. Let's see. Yeah, this dropping decimals. It's just not a good angle in which you could look up on the city and find where that jump is. It seems like, well, everything else just gets pointed to you via the map. The challenges are totally willing to let you wander in confusion. I would potentially just need to like find the highest spots, and from the highest spots walk back and forth looking for jumps like this. That was one of them. That was probably, in all fairness, the highest one of them. But there's really no telling how far the jumps could be away from each other, so it could be very far away or they could be very close. I wish we had subtitles, even if they're not saying anything important. A lot of it sounds like they're just saying the same thing over and over again. Yeah, inevitably you would end up just going back and forth. Back and forth. It's frankly too much of an investment in your time. Just wandering back and forth looking for a jump spot. And yet I can't convince myself to give up on it. And arguably, I don't think challenges are even that important. Story missions, submissions here, at least have writing around them and a narrative experience and is doing something different. Although arguably I have pretty much said that the things they're doing different are not particularly what I would consider great. Let's go see if we have anything at the merchants. Might be an intriguing revelation as far as just what can you actually buy and sell at the merchants in this city versus potentially having to fast travel to another city.
How are you?
I have much to trade.
Yeah, he does not have the same things as the characters,
Gods favor us both.
the merchants in the
You have made an excellent choice,
Abbey.
my friend. I'm always ready to trade.
So where does that put us as far as money goes? Fairly high now. Feels like we just would have everything you'd ever want. Purchase a couple more weapons that won't matter. We gotta figure out how to get back into the cave. Should be in here. Let's turn this over.
I freed your friends, and there's more good news. Colqui is alive. He was in the lead when the others were surrounded. He shouted a warning and ran away.
That's excellent.
There is one concern. You may have a traitor in the rebellion.
I know we do. I learned who he was while you were gone, and I'm going to personally see he gets what he deserves.
All right.
Here, take this, as a thank you. I appreciate all your help.
Hand
If you're right
something
about
off screen.
Coldplay, he would have gone to the mountain safe house. Can you go find him, please? Let him know we have retreated to Skull Cave.
I'll find him.
So we have new content, new continuation. That we'll have to move the story forward some
I
more.
can't believe how much Etzli has grown.
So where are we as far as outfits? We had this tunic, and then we have greaves. Still fairly limited, I think, in what we can wear. And then as far as upgrades go, we have enough resources to make one upgrade there, and that seems to be it. So if anything, that really highlights how the quests here are not giving you resources towards a closed loop system, or any kind of system that works on itself. We have 2 skill points we could spend. Might as well do it. We could probably start to really count how many skill points you would need to get everything else unlocked, and it probably is a depressingly high number. 3, 6 plus 9 plus another 12, 14, 16, 19, 22, 24, 25, 27, 30, 33. Yeah, unless my counting is off here, I would need a massive 33 more skill points to unlock everything in this game. Which you could potentially do that in the New Game Plus
I can't
anyways.
believe how much Etsley has grown in such a short...
So you are still in this weird mushy middle of, is there enough content in this game for a New Game Plus to play it a whole second time? Or, apparently I haven't even read this monolith. Or is there really only enough content to justify playing the game very thoroughly one time, and then New Game Plus is really just for people who dropped the ball and missed a few collectibles, which I think that is where this could go. Like, if I was more into this game, I definitely could see myself getting all the collectibles, or most of the collectibles, and doing a New Game Plus. Although I'm not even sure what the point of a New Game Plus is, because it seems like you could just keep on playing the game after you've done the main story, which is not New Game Plus. That's just a non-ending story. I should just fast travel to the village caves.
I can't believe how much...
Alright, let's see if we can... Village caves. Temple of the Sun. Big black smoke visual glitch. There. I'm hoping the Temple of the Sun fast travel doesn't actually take me in a really bad position.
To the altar now.
Oh, yeah. This is a bad position to be in. Is it any faster to fast travel to something closer to you? Probably not. Tap B to dodge an incoming attack. At what point does anybody physically attack you, though? Maybe the guards that had the swords would physically attack you with a sword. But everybody else, for the most part, is going to shoot you. Hey, and this is open now. So, yeah, we've figured out why that gate was closed before. It's because it was closed for a quest, which pretty much means anytime we see a gate closed, we know it is for a quest. So we're going to go in there and potentially have a boss fight. And then it's just going to be just a question of doing this quest, I guess. And then might as well just do the rest of these missions if we can. Challenges wise, though, I think I'll probably give up on most of those. That really would be the only way you are going to get skill points too, is by doing all these side missions, or by collecting all the artifacts, or just by hunting, which noticeably it would be very hard to do none of the side missions and collect no artifacts and then end up end up somehow still at the full level. We are world map wise 77% complete. And if I really want to focus back on doing tombs and finding the last couple of tombs, which is going to be some of our best quests. If we go over here and do this mission giver and do this mission giver, that may be the things that point us to a tomb, although there isn't a tomb in this section. There. No, there's not a tomb in this section either. So whatever this mission giver tells us to do, whatever this mission giver tells us to do, is going to be very separate. We want to be fairly careful here to not drag our feet at the last second of the game. Because we also want the game to end on a fairly high note. Noticeably here, between the last recording and this one, we have only gone up 2%, which I think that probably highlights whatever the percentage is that they're counting. It mostly centers around doing either collectibles or the main story. It does not center around doing missions and side quests. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.